It's Saturday and time for another workbench rant. Again, the topic is the city of Waco and how they manage things, or don't, or fail to. For the past couple of weeks, I've been dealing with a homeless person who has camped out across the street from me in a house that has been vacant for a couple of years. There are no utilities in place. I mean, they're in place, but they're not active. This has been confirmed with a member of city staff. What we have is a mental patient who has camped out across the street because she has the same last name as the owner. So her name, the last name on the deed, is the same as her last name. She feels like she can camp out there even though she is not allowed in the house. Her arrangement with her family seems to be a dicey one, and it seems that they are taking pity on her and allowing her to squat on the property, but they're not allowing her in the house. The house has been remodeled. It was remodeled a few years ago. It was a nice remodel, but it sat vacant so long because, from what I understand, the owner fell ill and may have died, and the property passed to another member of the family who didn't pick up the ball and get the house sold. So it is vacant. The house has been burglarized a number of times already. While I was taking my garbage out one Sunday evening, I saw a sheriff's deputy drive up and drop off this woman. Dropped her off at the house, and she proceeded to just camp out there. I do recall seeing a vehicle, a small SUV, parked in the driveway a few months ago, and I'm told by a neighbor that that is where she was living. She was living in the car parked in the driveway. Now, when I called to report this, I've called several times to the city, and Waco Police Dispatch, that's another whole video. Probably needs a training video, a series of training videos for police dispatch. What they'll end up doing is they'll get into an argument with me. This last guy, I wish I'd recorded him. I said, we got this person camped out. He even comes back with, well, maybe she has permission to be there. Have you ever thought about that? Maybe she's within her rights to be camped out. So let's not do an investigation. Let's just resolve it. Let's just close it before a police report is even filed. So let's gather some more facts. We have an individual, mentally disturbed individual, and this is confirmed because I spoke to an officer Hernandez when I called him out. So what's happening is this woman is camped out, and we're in Central Texas. It doesn't matter that her name might be the same as the name on the deed because she's carrying that deed around with her to show cops to make them piss off. That's beside the point. We have to look and think a little bit more deeply on what is going on. The property owner does not allow this woman in the house. That should be a red flag right there. If you are related to the property owner and the property owner does not give you a key and permission to get in and turn on utilities, there is a problem. That's a red flag. There's at least 1.5 red flags now. She is not allowed in the residence. What does that tell you? She was camped out in a car. The car is currently in city impound, not drivable. So it was probably parked illegally, towed away, and now. What drew my attention to this matter in the first place, besides the fact that she was dropped off by a sheriff's deputy, is that she was staying there, camped out, without any provisions. She eventually got a mattress and placed it on the porch. When I filled out a report form with the city of Waco, and this website and this app, that's another topic of discussion. So besides your gatekeeper dispatchers who are highly reluctant to send officers out and want to get in arguments, you have this app that effectively insulates city staff from the public. I used to work for public information for the city of Waco, and I had to record city council meetings. We'd have members of the public in various states of disgruntlement share their narratives, and it usually involved hitting a dead end with city staff, with whatever department, and they'd have to escalate it, and then the assistant city manager who's over that department would summon that department head to council chambers and to address the matter. If that person wasn't available, they would have the city secretary make a note and address the matter directly as soon as possible. And that was pretty efficient, I think. What's happening now is you're throwing your report into this bin, and it's getting routed or misrouted, as the case may be, to some department that says, I'm going to do A and B, but not C, D, E, or F, and then I'm going to mark it closed. Without any back and forth, without any feedback coming from the citizen. I've gone around with animal control about this. They'll say, oh, you've got stray dogs? Okay, we drove around, didn't see any stray dogs, case closed. Now you have to open another request, and there is no follow-up. And furthermore, there is no way to get satisfaction from this, because you can't say that it's gotten flagged in any way to a supervisor or department head to where it could get the attention that it needs to get properly resolved. So whoever devised this website, this app, has done a very effective job of insulating city management from the public. I was telling a coworker about this, and he's from Austin, Texas, a much larger city. In fact, Waco isn't even a city. It's a town. It's the town that thinks it's a city. So when I told my coworker about this, how when you go to the City of Waco website to look for city staff to address problems, there is a phone number, and that phone number you call gets also routed to voicemail. You never get to talk to anybody. And there's no email address. And he thought that was a red flag right there as well. That was kind of a snub from city staff saying, we really don't want to hear from you. We want you to bang your head against the wall. So, and this is why I make these videos, because I'm getting nowhere. So back to the vagrant, back to the homeless woman who's camped out. That is illegal occupancy. It doesn't matter that she shares a last name with the deed holder. What matters is her welfare in this case. She needs a caseworker. Now the caseworkers aren't on shift 24/7 like the police. The police have 3 shifts. The caseworkers, the social workers that would address the homelessness, the vagrancies, and try to get some mental health services for these people, or shelter, they're not available 24/7. And so there's this large crack that exists that the police aren't willing to jump for us. What happens is I call and report vagrancy. The cops say, well, her name's the same as the last name on the deed. Yeah, she can't have access to the house, but she may have a right to be on the property. Well, again, it's Central Texas, and we're at the top of the summer. She has no visible means of support. She doesn't have a vehicle, doesn't have a job. She may have a substance abuse problem. Combine those things with access to a house if she ever gets it. Let's say the house somehow does come into her possession with no means of support, no income, just a key to this house. What happens then? What happens when a mentally ill person obtains a dwelling? At the top of my list of concerns is her welfare and what is going to happen as the temperatures climb. At this moment, she appears to be taking up residence in the shed behind the house. If that is where she is taking shelter from storms, from whatever we have out here, then things are going to heat up and become inclement pretty fast. And if she were to succumb to the elements, the heat, the humidity, and die out there, it would be a few days before the stench let us know that she was gone. Now, there are a lot of stray cats in the area that might clean up the cadaver. But I don't want a dead person across the street from me. I don't want a person with mental health issues and substance abuse problems camped out across the street from me. I'm told she has a cousin who also has a substance abuse problem. If he gets wind of the fact that they can camp out there together, then we possibly have a drug den forming. We have a crack house situation, and that opens up the door to other things. Maybe we have prostitution, all this going on across the street from me. This just will not do. This is unacceptable. And the police, this is what I get from the police. I'm done, man. I'm done. He is done. Officer Moon is done. To be fair, a couple of these cops are trying to help, or give the appearance of trying to help and do the right thing. But I hit a wall with this guy. Take a look at this one. This one wouldn't even face me. Wouldn't even face my camera straight on. He just gives me this shoulder, which is pretty cold, and suggests that he's got something to hide. What are they doing? Are they closing these gaps? Are they going to get this woman the help she needs? Am I going to still have a vagrant living across, camped out? And they can't find a contact number for the actual homeowner because there has been some strife in their family with maybe some deaths and change of ownership. And if the person who currently holds the deed expires as well, and somehow this woman gets rights to the property, then it opens the door, like I said, it opens the door to a host of problems for the neighborhood, for me, for society, for the city of Waco, because they're just turning a blind eye and a cold shoulder to my concerns. Now, they did eventually get me a supervisor, a Sergeant Barrett, came out. He seemed like he had a grip on how this might work out, like maybe there's a code enforcement issue that could be played. Like I said, she got my attention late one night. I was watching television. The weather was mild. I had the window open, and I heard someone screaming obscenities, and got this recording. After a period of time, she will start talking loudly, and eventually screaming to, I don't know what. I don't know if she's screaming into a cell phone or just out into the universe, but she was screaming, and she has a very deep voice. She's about 6 feet tall and about 275. She has a deep, manly voice. I thought it was a young adult male, and that he was about to start throwing punches or bullets at somebody. Quick recap. Vagrant, camped out across the street, related to the homeowner, not allowed in the residence, camped out, no visible means of support. Police, reluctant to help. Dispatch, reluctant to dispatch. And here we are. City of Waco, shame on you. This is a failure. Big failing grade on dealing with this matter. I'm making multiple phone calls, filling out multiple reports, making this video, taking time out of my weekend to let people know this is what they have to expect when they move into this area of Waco. I'm in District 1. We've got a city council representative who didn't pay her property taxes for nearly a decade and still somehow managed to stay on city council. So I can't reach out to her. She doesn't return my phone calls. She's useless to me and to everyone. She shows up for photo ops. I think she's got a lot of dental work done, maybe some teeth whitening. Maybe that's where all the money went for that should have gone to pay her property taxes. She's useless. Her name is Bearfield, Andrea Jackson Bearfield. Andrea Jackson Bearfield, probably at home picking out outfits for the week. So what I'm asking is for something to be done for this woman, not to her. Don't just arrest her because she's going to bail out somehow. I mean, time expires and they put her back on the street to do whatever she's doing, camped out over there. She has been chasing away some of the cats, which is good because those cats are eventually going to wind up eating her if she does succumb to the elements here. Something needs to be done. City of Waco staff, personnel are not helpful. So somebody needs to step in and do their work for them, which is what they're counting on. City of Waco employees, personnel, staff are counting on somebody else to do the job, to do their work that they're getting paid for. It's a sweet deal. Really sweet deal.